Hi guys, you already know me, Don, and this is my partner Nicole. Yeah, the love of my life, my sweet baby. Yeah. So we're here to have a discussion about how relationships and sickle cell work, obviously. Yeah, how did you feel when I first told you I had sickle cell?
I don't know. I was okay because I think the most important thing was waiting for you to kiss me because we were tipsy and it was a
It
vibe.
was a vibe.
But you mentioned this something my condition, and I was like, what condition? Then you said sickle cell. I was like, okay, because I'm familiar with sickle cell in my family, so I know. I mean, it wasn't a big deal in the moment. It was okay, cool.
Yeah, at all. You
No.
didn't even-
At the time, in the moment,
In that moment.
it was like we're going to bang. So I think that was the focus. I don't think it really hit me until the next day. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
And
there's a lot of worse things.
yeah,
there, so.
of course.
Yeah.
And then after that, after I asked you out and all of that, like, you didn't change your mind. What gave you the courage to just, because you have a history with sickle cell, obviously, you said in your family, and so you had like no reservations, because it was a quick, all right, cool.
I mean, I think if people are not familiar with loss and unpredictable things and disease and real life, I think certain things, not that we all need to have those things in our life, but it was not, and it is not a like, wow, oh my God, I have to find the strength in me to be with this person. No, it never occurred to me. It does, I don't know. I feel like everyone makes a big deal.
Yeah.
But I understand why. It's just, no, even you say you have to have the courage to, no, I am afraid of a lot more things. But at the same time, I also recognize that it's a very big deal to have a chronic illness.
Yeah.
I also have a chronic illness, so it's not something that I was also thinking you were, like I had to get courage. I thought you also needed courage to date me. It's not simple over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what helps is also that, like you mentioned, you already exposed to sickle cell, so I guess that it's harder for people who aren't exposed to it and they start dating someone. I guess that can obviously complicate the process of deciding whether to go through with it or not, whether to begin a relationship. Yeah. What's the scariest thing for you when I'm in a crisis?
The scariest thing is obviously that you'll be in that eternal pain. I think it's so bad when you're in the thick of it that it's so, like, the veil between life and death is so thin that at least that's how it feels to watch and witness.
Yeah.
That, that's scary, is that there is nothing anybody can do. Okay, they can knock you out. They can give you a shit ton of ketamine and God knows what else, but it's very scary to know that, any wrong move can take you the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing for me when I'm in a crisis is, I think we've talked about this before too, is just like the burden, because obviously it interrupts your whole life. You have work, you have other stuff to do, you have everything outside of our relationship. And the scariest thing for me is that it would just be to reach like a point where it's just like too much,
You know what is too much? It's not the sickle cell.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know if I think burden is not the right word to use. I think all of us have our own share of human experience, scars, or luggage that we come with, things that are, you always say backpack. I have my shit, you have your shit. I don't see sickle cell something that you cannot control it as a burden. It wouldn't be fair to use that word. So I see it as like it's part of us, it's part of the package. It's incredibly disruptive, but it's even more disruptive to you. Me, I can work in the hospital. You can't really focus. You have lost hours, So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, because I know earlier this year it was really tough. I know it took like a huge toll on you. So how was like the recovery process from that? Because it was a long 3 months.
Yeah.
It was a long 3 months in and out of hospital.
Yeah, I'm really glad that at least like we had each other because we're in the hospital together.
Yeah.
But the post-hospital recovery was the bitch. That was, I think, the real hard one. Was just finding our routine again, eating properly again. I think that was harder for me than the hospital. I think the hospital, maybe like after the first week when we're still at the first hospital, when I had that huge deadline, I think I just hadn't planned properly, and so it all hit me like a ton of bricks, and I had to postpone that. So it was hard in that regard, but it's always going to be harder to accept that you're sick and unable to do what you want to do.
It's tough. It's definitely tough. You've dated other people. Is it harder dating me? Is it harder like dating me compared to other people? Like you said, everyone
have to finish the sentence.
Everyone comes with their own baggage, like you said. So
I know.
I don't know.
No. Easiest relationship by far.
Easiest.
Yeah. Okay, easy is a relative term, but
yeah. Of course.
I've dated some. I don't even date. I don't even know. In Kampala, dating has its own like 5 definitions. So the people I have been with, whether for 2 seconds or 2 years.
Yeah. Stuff. Baggage.
Nah, they're a-holes. So no, I'm very, very. This for me, this is like.
I'm glad.
Okay. Except the other thing,
Yeah. There's some challenges.
There are challenges.
Obviously.
Think how you cope with your condition, your disease, impacts our relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you have to constantly keep in mind as a partner to a warrior?
That that your disease is a part of you in every single respect. That there is a lot of grace that not only I but the people we let into our orbit have to give. That people. I think I have to keep in mind that you're my priority, that just as I'm your priority, that health, like we can do our part in our diet, in making sure the house is temperature controlled, making sure that your life is as stress-free as possible, that I have to keep in mind that some battles are not worth fighting.
Yeah.
Some, my own pet peeves, my own personal challenges.
Yeah.
They are small compared to us like keeping you healthy.
I don't know. I think they're equally as important, obviously.
No, they're not equally important.
They're not.
They're not. My and like hatred for small hairs. If you comb all over the house and I find a trail, am I going to freak out? No. Now I'm better. Now I'm better. I get a broom and so.
Pet peeve is hair.
Loose hair.
Loose hair.
Loose hair.
Loose hair around the place. When you made up your mind to go full into the relationship, had you thought fundamentally about how it would change your life?
No.
Because a lot of changes came with it, obviously.
Yeah, it took 48 hours, less than 48 hours to decide from the time you asked. No, I did not have an idea because I had never dated anybody with sickle cell or a chronic condition. I had not. I think I learned on the job, or I'm still learning on the job, and
yeah, it's always a learning process. We're changing every day. It feels like, yeah, it's something that I really appreciate. One thing I love about you
is why
you're always willing to like accommodate and find like a middle ground, whatever we have to change for, just because of the condition. It's never like it's this or that. It's like we can always find something to do, something to change, whether it's diet, whether it's hydration. Just like even this very fire sweater I was wearing, like you told me, like you have to leave the house with a sweater. And that is definitely like, yeah, we've learned that as we've gone along in the relationship.
Yeah, I think it's also like top of mind to make sure I'm not your parental figure or someone who's in a lecture mode, but more your partner, your lover, your girlfriend. I think that's a tricky balance sometimes, but you're very good at managing your health. You track everything. So often when I am like, oh, don't forget your sweater or water, whatever, you're already ahead of it. So.
All right, let's get a bit deep. Do my coping mechanisms frustrate you?
Yes, they do. They do.
Yeah, because I know I like to, like my friend over here said, a Kampala boy, like enjoying going out on a any day night, just out of stress, anxiety, just coping with sickle cell. I know it frustrates the hell out of you. So
what frustrates me?
Coming back on one. Yeah. Does anything else frustrate you though? Like any other coping mechanisms I have?
No. I learned so much from you just in how open-minded you are and how like we read different books. We watch different shows. I'm now an anime like addict because of you. She tattooed an anime that you introduced me to. I think that we're good in a lot of respects, but the way you cope with having this chronic illness, living with a chronic illness, is really hard to understand because naturally I'll approach it from a point of rational thinking and logic when it's not something that you can rationalize. I think your coping mechanisms for me are directly related to your health.
Right.
And because your coping mechanisms are not for your health, they in fact
very unhealthy.
They harm your health. It's really hard to witness that you will degrade your health just because you're finding ways to cope with having a chronic illness. And because I don't have sickle cell and I don't have the experience you've had, I cannot understand what it takes for you to get to those points. Whether you abuse alcohol or even vaping, like I wish we had more access to edibles because those would be really healthy, stress reducing ways. But because we live in the country we live in and because we have the social circles that we have.
Yeah.
You're prone to doing things that somebody your age would want to do to
Yeah.
hang out. So I can imagine and I understand that you're between a rock and a hard place a lot, and how you cope is genuinely the best way you know how. It may not be the best way for your body, and it's really hard to to understand.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You're right, though. Because even, like you said, living where we live and just the country we're in, there definitely would be way healthier ways of coping. Access to like edibles would be amazing. Like, that's one thing I really enjoyed in California, because I wouldn't drink as much. Yeah, so I wish there were other ways, and we will discover other ways to find healthier coping mechanisms. We will. It won't always be like this.
I mean, okay. Godspeed.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
How do you cope with the stigma of people knowing that you're dating someone with sickle cell? If there is a stigma.
Yeah, there are people who don't understand it, but I mean, it's not my problem. I don't cope. It's not my issue.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for anyone who has hesitation, stigma about people with sickle cell, because it's a lack of information, a lack of knowledge, but also a superiority complex. So
yeah,
fuck them. I don't really think about them like that.
Have you ever got any mean comments from people, or like people trying to discourage you to?
Yeah, I have. Again, I'm not
changing your mind.
To change my mind,
yeah.
Like a comment to change my mind.
Yeah, there's no discouragement. There's no. I mean, you've got. I'm sure. I don't know.
If we break up, it will be because of you. Because you've done something stupid.
Yeah.
Not because someone has said, "Oh my God, how are you dating a guy with sickle cell?"
Yeah.
Okay. How is he dating someone who lives with depression?
Yeah.
Things like that. So they should be asking you. What's it like dating a filmmaker who works a lot? You know? Yeah.
I think you have some questions.
I do?
Too, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. What's the one thing you feel I do not understand about your health?
I don't know. I think you understand everything. I think... No, you definitely understand everything. I think what doesn't... Wow, let's see how to say this. No, you're very understanding. You understand everything that comes with it. I think you just don't... You understand the stress that comes with it. But like you said, the coping mechanisms that are brought on because of the anxiety and because of the condition, it can get very frustrating. And it's hard to understand the way I react with those coping mechanisms. But when it comes to the actual condition, I think you fully understand everything about it. Yeah.
I'm now a pharmacologist.
Yeah, the medication, you're a proper pharmacologist. And herbalist.
Herbalist. I think the Kiss Clinic people hate me.
Part-time doctor, part-time nurse.
Yeah, caretaker.
Yeah.
Pee bucket emptier. I'm there.
Yeah.
When you first got into a crisis, when we were dating, were you afraid to let me know?
No, because it was very obvious. Yeah, just right there. How could I not let you know? I can't even remember the first time I got into
I
a
remember.
crisis. You remember? When was it?
Right, your apartment, and you were like, it just is feeling funny, and you were like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was coming to like 6-ish. So traffic was going to be a problem. You tried to be like, no, let me just take the painkiller.
Yeah.
You were still on
Golfing.
no, the other
Dynapar.
and then it wasn't working. It was just escalating, and so you were like, we have to go. And you were in so much pain, and then we were in traffic jam. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god. But do you remember what you said that week?
No, remind me.
It's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. Several times. And I was like, what's wrong with this guy?
Just denial, man.
It's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen
position
again.
of like, we have to go to the hospital. We're going to be there for a few days. So it's just wishful thinking.
You also said after we talked about it, you were like, I just didn't want you to think this would be something that happens often.
Yeah.
And then I asked you, how do you control a crisis? Do you schedule it? But I could feel, I empathized with where you were coming from. I could feel that you were scared that I would see, and you'd be like, and I would be like, I'm outie. But it wasn't even like 3 weeks into our relationship.
Yeah. And I've brought it up multiple times that I've been in previous relationships where they see like the first crisis and they're like, literally, bye. Ghost you, ghost me.
No, I mean, it was so early days because we were having sex like rabbits, and I feel like that was more important for me. I was like, did the activities bring on the crisis?
Yeah.
And you were like, no.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was, I don't know. It is what it is, as you keep saying.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Are there things you wish you could do with me, but we can't because of my help?
Because of your help?
My help, because of your health. Are there things you wish you could do with me, but we can't because of your health?
Yeah, so much, man. Especially when it comes to like, I know you like hiking, you're really an outdoor person. You like this morning you went for a run or a walk. I would have loved to have joined you, but I can't. So just, it's a long list. I don't know if you like scuba diving would be fun. I know a lot of ocean activities, hikes. I also I used to like hiking a lot in Cali. But it's just not a thing anymore. I remember the last time I went on a hike and almost dislocated my hip in the middle of, we were like 3 hours from the nearest hospital. So, I'm never going to even attempt that ever again. So there's definitely a lot that I wish we could do together, but I can't because of my health. Just especially just because of the replacements.
Well, I'll live stream from the view. And you'll just sit on like a plastic chair at the bottom.
Just carry your GoPro.
Yeah.
You can just watch on the phone while you're hiking.
Yeah, I'll put it in my head.
Yeah. I can enjoy the view.
Yeah. How can I be more of an advocate to you?
I don't know. I think you're doing pretty well being an advocate. You're open about it. You're encouraging me to talk about it. You're willing to be here to discuss. I don't know, to do more. Let's make a film. As a filmmaker, let's make a documentary. Let's do it.
Okay.
No, but I don't know. I don't have any advice. I think you're doing a great job being an advocate. Yeah.
What can I do less of?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Even with your coping mechanisms?
Yeah. No, continue.
I continue. May I be?
I have to live and learn though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions for me?
Do you have any more questions? no, I think we've covered quite a bit.
Okay, I have one for you.
Yeah.
Now that you are in a relationship, maybe the longest one.
Yeah.
That
Definitely.
we've both been in. Okay, with real people.
Who are fake people?
No, ignore.
Okay.
So just now that you've been in a relationship, what advice or suggestions would you have for your fellow warriors who are keen to be in relationships but maybe are afraid for one reason or another?
I know like Josie's really good about this, but a lot of people in our warrior group keep saying that they never talk about bringing up they have sickle cell early in the relationship. They wait till later because they're always afraid of the reaction. And I know I told you, like you said on the first day, I told you. I know Josie also always tells whoever so-and-so on almost immediately. And my advice would be open and honest about it. I mean, it's a big part of you. It's a big part of who you are, and you can't hide it because it's going to a certain extent, it's going to define how your relationship works, you know? So, yeah, be open about it. Don't be ashamed. It's a big part of who you are. Be just, yeah, I don't know. That'd be my advice. Okay, but before we close, one last thing. We haven't really discussed like having kids in the future. And it was brought up in the past conversation. How do you think that would impact our relationship in general? Because I know one thing, we haven't yet done the genotype test. But if you were a carrier and we had kids with sickle cell, I know it would change the whole dynamic, but like, what do you feel? What do you think about it? I know obviously we've discussed having children. You'd love to have children, so would I. But would you be scared?
If we had kids with sickle cell?
Yeah.
I think if we did the test before having kids, I think we'd do the test.
Yeah.
If I'm a carrier, then obviously we cannot have kids, our biological kids. We can't have biological kids, but we can still have children.
Yeah.
We can still have, we can adopt. I want to adopt. I've always wanted to adopt before you, so that one, I'm really excited and looking forward to it. We can have pets. I think, if we did have children before we did the test and it turned out that I was a carrier and the child has sickle cell, I'd be very sad that we didn't do the test first. But we'll do the best that we can.
Right.
I think that's all we can do.
That's all you can do, really.
I'll be sad that the child has to have painful crises. But I'm really encouraged by the way technology is evolving and all the stories of gene editing, and we'll just probably move to that state where they're doing this. We'll just move and sign the kid up and sign you up if it's not too late. And, just give somebody the best opportunity. But however kids come into our lives, it would be great.
Yeah.
If we can only have one kid, great. If we can't have children, we'll be great aunties and uncles.
Great aunties and uncles. Any last thoughts on or advice for people who are going to date warriors?
Don't date a warrior, date a person, date a human. I think, just date somebody that you vibe with and that you're attracted to. And if they happen to be a warrior, then educate yourself. I I think it's a red flag if someone is in a relationship with somebody with a chronic illness like sickle cell and they are not putting in work to understand the disease, because there's so much information. It's such a huge load on you. You need somebody to share that with, appointments, this medicine, order this, order that. I think a partner has to share in it. There is really no way around it.
Yeah.
Because your sickle cell is like a very intimate part of your life experience. So if somebody has fallen in love with someone with sickle cell, great, but keep focus that they're a human being. Keep the focus they're a human being, and they have a lot of needs. We all have a lot of needs, and these are your specific needs. So make sure you find out what the latest information is. Look at listen to podcasts, read books, talk to other people. So
yeah, it's interesting because you'll send me podcasts about sickle cell that I haven't even listened to or found, which is really interesting. It's really crazy. Or books or links, or links to articles. Yeah, so you definitely follow through on your own advice.
I do, yes.
You do.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, I think that was a very vulnerable conversation. Feeling, I don't know, like my heart is out there. So thanks for joining us for this episode of Sick Conversations. Yeah, that's it from us.